No, folks, welcome back. This is Amy McDonald. We are here at the Foolish Optimist Podcast. If you are new here, we are on the hunt for the next generation of leaders in the United States. If you haven't yet subscribed to the podcast wherever you are, that would be really great. If you're feeling magnanimous, you can rate and review us. This is another special episode in our series of people who are working a little bit more behind the scenes. Today, our special guest is Dana Owens. He was extremely angry about his Republican incumbent for the federal House district, Dale Strong. He was running unopposed again, and he went ahead and picked a fight on Blue Sky. And now, in a hop, skip, and a jump, he is the president of the Jackson County Democratic Club in Alabama. So here we are. Dana, thanks for being here.
Hi, glad to be here.
I kind of love the backstory because I think a lot of people are feeling a little ragey. Maybe that's a nice way to put it. I think we're all a little bit angry, especially with the Democratic Party. If I'm being honest, I think a lot of us Democrats are a little angry with them. So, talk to me about your life in politics before the county club, or were you ever really active?
I voted in every election that I have been eligible to vote in since I turned 18 in 2001. But other than that, other than trying to encourage my friends to vote, I never really got directly involved. I'm a peace and quiet kind of guy. I would kind of like for things to just work and participate and do my basic civic duty and go and vote and that be enough, but that's obviously not enough anymore.
Yeah. Well, and I think you kind of fit into that category that a lot of Americans fit into in 2025 is things aren't working anymore, and now they feel the need, or they've run across people and groups like your county Democrats that need leadership or something like that, and you're like, great, I'm gonna fucking step in. I'll do it. Alabama's having like a pretty big shakeup too, politically.
Yeah, we are. Before I showed up, the county club was defunct. I don't know for how many years. The club just didn't exist. They were doing, I think, quarterly meetings with the executive committee, which is what I started showing up to. And the next thing I knew, the county chair was like, hey, we're going to start the club up and I'm going to nominate you to be the president. And I'm like, what?
Excuse me? How did this happen?
But, after talking to some friends and family about it, and they're like, yeah, it sounds like a great opportunity. You should do that. So
how long have you been in that position?
Since July, I believe.
Okay.
August would have been August would have been our first meeting officially as a club. I just started reaching out to candidates. I made a couple of good connections that led to more connections, as networking tends to go, and just started reaching out to folks. And
now, I was about to say, now Dale Strong is not running unopposed, which is
no, he's not.
Awesome.
We have 3 different candidates running in that primary.
That's awesome.
It's very awesome.
I know I've interviewed one. I interviewed Jeremy DeVito.
Love Jeremy.
I keep almost getting his name wrong because I knew someone with that last name whose first name also started with a J.
Yeah.
And so whenever I say it out loud, I'm like, did I say that right? Yes, it's Jeremy DeVito. He's a veteran running in Congressional District 5 against Dale Strong. Who else is running in that race?
We have Candace Duziel, who is a teacher. And
Dr. Candace.
Dr. Candace, yes. I was about to say she has a PhD, I believe, in education.
And
Andrew Sneed.
The reason I know Dr. Candace is she's on our schedule later on. All I can think of is like how much of a blessing it is right now for Democrats in that district to have 3 people to choose from. And Dale Strong ran unopposed. I think Jeremy said it was like 18 years or something, or 17 years. It's an insane number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's infuriating to go and sit down and try to cast your vote, and 90% of the Republicans on the ballot have no opposition. at all. And no
Yeah.
wonder we are a ruby red stronghold, as they like to say. But
Right.
I don't believe that's true, and I have kind of made it my mission to prove that not to be true.
I love that. Yeah. I was talking to somebody else on this series, and they said we have somewhere around 500,000 elected officials in the United States across all 50 states, the district, Puerto Rico, etc. Hundreds of thousands of them go unopposed. Because we're talking right now congressional seat, which is obviously one of the highest offices in the land, and it goes unopposed. So imagine the state, local, all these other positions that are probably sitting empty too. So do you have any advice for people thinking about running?
Just do it. Just get out there. It's not for everybody. Some of us
Yeah.
work better in a little bit more of a behind the scenes position, such as myself. But I mean, if you're thinking about it, there are any number of resources out there. There are people who make it their mission to recruit candidates. If you look around, ask around, you'll find them. No matter how alone you think you are in your red, deep red rural districts. And let me tell you, this is a rural district. We are mostly backwoods. We are one of the largest counties by square miles in the state of Alabama. We're very spread out. We don't have the population centers of like Madison County, which is also in our district, which is where Huntsville is. But I guarantee you, if you look around, you will find groups of people like our county club that are active and can help you find the resources you need to run.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think people forget about those county clubs specifically. I spoke with someone in New York who is a chair of a county club or a county committee is what they call it up there. It's okay. Every state's different and it's all confusing all the time, but similar situation. And I think a lot of these new candidates don't even know these county clubs exist. I think everyone in Alabama does because your county clubs have stepped the fuck up, to put it mildly.
We're trying. We have a little bit more flexibility in what we can and can't do by comparison to the executive committee that are actually like we are party affiliated, but we are not an official part of the Democratic Party in the state. It's a kind of a little fuzzy gray area that we exist in. And like I said,
Yeah.
it gives us a little bit more room to stretch our legs, which is great. It's great for us. It may not always be great for the party, but Alabama's
Yeah.
Democratic Party is a story in and of itself. It's mired with years and years of infighting, and that's really what one of my main goals, I said I want to make sure that we show people that there are blue dots banding together in the area so they don't feel so alone, but also a lot of us are not, as you said earlier, a lot of us are not happy with the way the Democratic Party has operated for years now. And I firmly believe that the way to change that is to get involved on the ground. We can
Yeah.
start affecting change in the party at large if we start on the county level. And we can start making sure we get progressive candidates like Dr. Candace, like Jeremy,
Mm-hmm.
in front of people so we can put progressive candidates in seats and we can make the Democratic Party a party that works for the people again rather than whatever it is now. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's a little
parts
like
of it.
It's a little Frankensteiny, being
Mhm.
for the people, but also taking a bunch of corporate money and not
Yeah.
really pushing back in a way that I would love to see them. This government shutdown has been really interesting because I do feel like some of the younger, more progressive voices were like, we need to shut it down.
Mhm.
It's terrible, but like that's what we got to do. Um, and not blink.
No.
Make the president call the bluff It's not a bluff. They're trying to get our healthcare premiums down. Fucking
Absolutely. Anytime I hear people complaining about the shutdown, which happens quite a bit because we have
yeah,
a lot of willfully blind and deaf MAGAs around here. The one and only holdout, the one and only thing that the Democratic Party wants to do is continue the ACA subsidies. That's
hmm
it. That's it. That's all Republicans have to do. Even if they just agreed to extend them for a year.
right.
So
The government would
people,
reopen.
yeah, so people don't lose their health care while we negotiate something a little more permanent, but they don't want to budge on that. They wanted
Yeah.
this shutdown. It was
Well,
engineered from the beginning, in my opinion. They want this
oh yeah.
shutdown because it's giving them the opportunity to do a bunch of nonsense behind the scenes.
Well, and it's fodder to own the Dems again, to tell everyone that this is their fault. They wanted to shut it down around no kings. They wanted to blah 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 blah. And it is really frustrating that it's exactly what you said, right? Rather than believe people, rather than people believing their own eyes and ears and like what they're literally physically seeing, they're believing what they're being told to believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I have a very hard time interacting and engaging with those people. And I try. Has it led
Yeah.
me to premature gray hair? Absolutely. And I'm still trying,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe we could go back a little bit and take a couple steps back and talk a little bit more about how enacting county level change can change the Democratic Party. Maybe it's a step-by-step thing, right? Maybe from the county level, we can change the state, and from the state, we can change the national conversation. But maybe you could walk me through that a little bit about
Well,
how
I
we
mean,
could.
we as the county club have a direct line to the county committee, and members of the county committee participate in the club. And we even have some counties, like our neighboring county, Marshall County, where the county chair and the club president are one and the same. And the county chair, in particular, has a voice in Montgomery and in the state capitol
Mhm.
during gatherings of our Democratic Party. And the more people we can put in that kind of position who are going to be unified in their message, the more change we can enact on the state level.
Yeah,
And affecting the state party can affect the national party, and so on. It's really not that far of a leap from county
right.
chair to being fully participating in the state party. It would, what I want to see is more people that have a voice in the state party that will all together call out nonsense when they see it. Hey, can we stop squabbling like children and get some actual work done? That's what we need to
Hey, wait a
see.
minute. That's the Democratic way. We squabble. It's
And the discourse is needed. I think
yeah,
it's great that we're not all 100% lockstep like the Republican Party tends to be.
right.
But there's a lot more interpersonal nonsense woven in to a lot of these squabbles.
That's not just happening in Alabama. That's happening throughout the entire Democratic Party, right? And it is.
Yeah.
I heard someone say this. They were like, the Democratic Party just needs to get back to its roots. We're the party of the working people, and we're the party of tolerance. We
Uh-huh.
don't have to outline every bit of tolerance that we tolerate, because that apparently scares everyone that's not Democratic. They're like, you're tolerant. What is that? Just leave it there. Just be like, hey, why just Google tolerance and we'll see what you find. I think you're right. I think these squabbles have been, I don't know what it's like in Alabama. I really don't, but I know what it's like in New York. Andrew Cuomo's running for mayor, but he used to be our governor. And when he was
Mhm.
governor, he wouldn't be in the same room as our mayor. What are you guys, 14? They couldn't agree on, I guess it was like state subsidies for our city run homeless shelters. And so we just never got money for our homeless shelters from the state. And it was because like they couldn't have a conversation. And I was like, what the fuck? What do you like 9 million lives hang in the balance and you're gonna fight over this. So I know it's not just Alabama. I know it's all over this country. Do you have any thoughts on how we can reduce the squabbles and produce better shit? I was hoping for something cute there, but I didn't get it. I couldn't land.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. Sweep out the majority of the old guard and replace them with new blood.
Yeah, that's how I feel the same way.
And new blood that's not. And look, I'm not knocking lawyers as a whole, but we have far too many in government. We need people that have lived through some of these struggles, people who have not been in a privileged place for most of their lives. And I mean, privilege is an entirely other conversation, but when I say privilege financially, specifically,
we're talking about money at this exact moment. Yeah.
We need people who know what it's like to wonder if they're going to be able to pay all their bills. We need people who know what it's like to have to pick and choose what you get at the grocery store just so you can make it through to the next paycheck. We need people who understand these struggles and can legislate accordingly.
I agree with that 100%. We also really need people who have actually used the federal systems for SNAP, Medicare, Medicaid. We need people who have literally had to sit down and try to figure that out, because I've never done any of those, but I've worked in real estate and housing, and I've helped people through Section 8. I've helped people through all these different types of vouchers, and I've also worked on like the tech side of things, helping people sign up for senior citizens, sign up for Medicare, Medicaid, but also like every state has its own different things. You know, you can sign up to reduce your electricity bill and things, like all these things for seniors that no one knows about. Not literally, and they can be reducing their costs by like $500, $600, $700 a month while they're on Social Security or limited income. It's really fabulous. But we need people who have walked through every single one of those systems, creating laws around them, because
absolutely,
we have the best technology we've ever had. Why isn't it a hop, a skip, a click, and a background check, and we call it a day? Like,
that's one of the reasons why the whole free health care for immigrants argument just boils my blood every time. You cannot get these help from these federal programs if you do not have a Social Security number. And on top of that, even if you do have a Social Security number, it's hard enough to get them then.
You're barely getting them anyways. And my friend literally was just like, they're like, healthcare for who? What do you mean healthcare? Like, we're barely giving Medicaid to children who need it. And you think we're just doling it out to like anyone that's like, hey, I'd like that. No. Same with Section 8. It's goddamn near impossible to get people approved for a voucher, and then finding a landlord who accepts a voucher. It's 18 months, 24 months, 36 months. And you're just like, I literally just want to like shake people in Congress and be like, people are dying. People are fucking dying. People in your district are fucking dying. And Alabama obviously has like you're not my first person I've interviewed from Alabama, obviously. Alabama has a lot of people on Medicare and Medicaid.
Yep.
And this big, beautiful bill is going to rip that out from these people's hands. And it's so frustrating.
The part of that really, really frustrates me is the percentage, the Venn diagram of people on Medicare, Medicaid, and other vital federal programs, and the people who voted for Donald Trump is almost a circle. It's almost a single circle.
It's going back to, again, not believing what they see and what they hear, or what they're like actually physically seeing and hearing, but believing what they're told to believe, right? Like, they're like, oh no, but this is going to actually be better. But in reality, when we talk about this, like Medicare and Medicaid, it's not just hurting the people. It's going to hurt the economies. It's going to close down hospitals. Like, you've got hospitals that really are only open because they're getting Medicare and Medicaid. And then what's across the street from the hospital? Restaurants, parking garages. Like, it drives me insane. It's like, I'm just like, there's so much more to this than just ripping away people's life-saving care.
We're looking at a stoppage of SNAP benefits on November 1st. Not only is that going to hurt a lot of people who rely on the SNAP benefits for food, I, as a day job, am a manager of a small town local grocery store.
Gonna kill them.
A large portion of our revenue is SNAP. So that's going to hurt us.
And SNAP was also originally created to actually not just feed our people in need, but also to help our farmers.
Yep.
So we got the grocery stores, we got the farmers, we've got people who actually need the benefits. We've also got the people driving food around. We've got truckers, we've got distributors. It's
a massive ripple effect throughout the entire economy.
Yeah. And then people are in like food deserts because the grocery stores are going to have to close down different locations.
I mean, I live in a tiny, tiny town. To even get to said small town where I work is a 30-minute drive. The closest any kind of food to us in our town is a Dollar General. That's it. We had a grocery store when I was growing up, but Dollar General ran them out of business. Like, it's we're in a food desert here.
Yeah. 30 minutes is that's a long trip. 30 minutes driving is what? Probably, I don't even know mileage.
It's about 25, 26 miles. Yeah.
That's insane to me. I was bitching because I had to walk 25 minutes to my Trader Joe's over in Brooklyn. I was like, it's so far away. I can't carry all my things. Granted, you don't have a car, so you do have to carry things for 25 minutes, but
right.
it's a different situation. But yeah, I mean, Dollar General. That I do love Dollar General. I appreciate them for existing and just being kind of their ethos and maintaining it despite, I don't know how expensive it is now. Is it still mostly dollar-ish stuff? $1 to $5?
Not really, no. It's convenient store fare without the gas pumps, essentially.
Okay.
There are a couple of documentaries about Dollar General as a company in particular on YouTube that I can't think of the name of either of them right off the top of my head, but it's a predatory and parasitic company.
Jesus. Okay.
They intentionally try to hurt the local economy in the towns where they set up, doing things like running our local grocery store out of business to set themselves up as the only place to go and get anything.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, it's not a great company, but most of us, we shop there because what other choice do we have? Unless you have the time, gas, etc., to drive half an hour to get to an actual supermarket.
Right.
This is a pretty big farming area. You were mentioning the impact on farmers, the Farmageddon that we're currently experiencing. There's a lot of soybeans grown in this area. A lot.
Oh,
and
okay.
I am seeing fields that are they're just going to be left to rot in the field and probably turned under to have something else planted next year, and farmers are getting nothing.
Hopefully they'll be able to make it to next year and plant something new and survive. I don't know. Some of these smaller non-corporate farms, family farms, like realistically, I don't know how much cash flow they have. Can they miss a harvest? Like that's a lot of money. That's like basically saying your busy season you're closed for. So you better have saved up 6 months or whatever expenses and then some. And it makes me really nervous.
Yeah.
And I can't quite figure out what the point is.
These folks rely on their yearly sales. Like these guys aren't they're not getting a paycheck every week and then suddenly they don't get a paycheck. They get paid big once a year, and then that's what they have to live on until the next harvest. So no harvest, that's a year's worth of income gone.
Well, and I don't know exactly, I won't lie to you, I don't know exactly what's going on with the farmers. I feel like we've subsidized American farmers for a really long time, like since the Great Depression, pretty much, maybe like the Dust Bowl, like We need
So
food.
many of the
They
farms
need
around
money.
here have become monocultures. They're growing, they're growing just soybeans as a cash crop. And we sold almost 100% of our soybeans to China. But now we are in a trade war with China.
With
It didn't
China.
have to
Okay.
happen. And so we're selling, China's buying no soybeans from us because they're pissed at us, and understandably so.
Yeah.
And then we turn around and we give $40 billion to Argentina. And
Yeah.
now
I know.
and then they turn around and are selling soybeans to China in our place on top of that. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It's
Who's
just
in
a big old one
Argentina?
of these to
Yeah,
American
it's
farmers,
that should actually like enrage. To me, that's like to me, that's literally enough. I don't know American farmers. I really don't. I don't know anyone that's an American farmer, but for me, that's enough to literally want to drop kick this entire administration. Like,
I know quite a
I knew
few.
about the 40 billion for the Argentinian bailout, but I didn't know that they were selling the soybeans as well.
Yep.
And like, fuck that.
And
I
most of these
just,
farmers around here voted for Trump.
yeah, like that to me is enough to take my farm equipment, drive to DC and start the French style, start like launching cow manure at the White House.
I would love to see that. Unfortunately, I love the French approach to
Not
being
ours.
upset with the government, but we're too big. It's feasible for many farmers in France to take their tractors and drive to,
France is small. Yes.
but we're
Yeah.
so spread out. It's a little bit more difficult for us to do that sort of thing. As much as I would love to see it.
They can go to Montgomery and just make their voices heard. That's doable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's the amount of foreign aid that's left our country in the last, even before Trump, right? The last like 2 years, while we are watching everyday Americans struggle left, right, and sideways, is very frustrating. My degree's in international affairs. I understand. I get it. I know what the United States has signed up for. I understand that we are the war machine, but we're also the like funder of the wars, right? That's what we do. It's what we've always done. And I get that. But like, people are starving. People are losing their homes. People are losing their livelihoods.
I want to see us be a great international neighbor. I want to
Yeah.
see us help other countries that need that. I think that's great for us, our reputation as a country, and it's just the
Yeah.
right thing to do. But our house is a mess. We
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
get our own affairs in order and get our own people situated before, And there's obviously some situations where we can't afford to wait. Like we
Right.
desperately need to be helping Ukraine. And I mean, Gaza's another conversation altogether, but there are places where we can't afford to not give foreign aid.
Yeah.
And I want to see that continue, but we've got to help American citizens, and it's infuriating that the administration in power wants to spout America first constantly, as though
Yeah.
when they're doing the opposite. That's the thing. They're doing the opposite constantly, and it's obvious. I mean, your eyes and ears should tell you everything you need to know. But as we said before, people are willing to just take the man's word for it.
Well, and then of course we have the Democrats who are like pussyfooting around, frankly. So that's why I said at up top, I was pretty grateful about this shutdown because
Yeah.
if I saw one more strongly worded letter, I might self combust. I'm like, how many strong words do you know, Chuck Schumer? How many you got? Because it doesn't seem to be working.
Absolutely. It is nice to see the Democratic Party standing up and actually for something for a change, because for the longest time I was of a mind that they didn't have enough vertebra between them to make a single human spine.
Literally.
But
I was like,
yeah,
this is a large worm. We
yeah,
are a spineless being. And granted, I don't know. I've been my entire adult life has been with the internet, right? My first election was Barack Obama won.
hmm
So we've always had Facebook or some version of the internet. Twitter came out the next year.
hmm
But some of these fucking tweets coming out of these Democratic leaders, I'm like, hey, actually, it'd be better if you didn't say this at all. It would be better.
yeah,
I don't know who's running your Threads account. I don't know who's running your Twitter X account or Blue Sky, but that's one of the most insane things I've ever heard someone say right now in this moment when you're supposed to be in charge.
yep.
Like, I I've gone, I specifically like repost Chuck Schumer's stuff all the time and threaten to tell all of his secrets. I don't have any secrets on Chuck Schumer, but I'm just like, if you do one more thing, I will, like, I can't. He's like, oh, you should call your reps. And I'm like, you are my rep.
Yeah.
You're my rep. You're my rep, sir. What do you mean call your reps? Like, you guys aren't doing shit. Yes, that's part of why I'm really pumped about this class of people running, because it is people like Jeremy DeVito, Dr. Candace. You say Andrew Sneed?
Andrew Sneed.
I haven't met him yet, but I feel like I probably like him more than 99% of Democrats in office anyways. So him too. Um, just people who are like ready to roll up their sleeves, they've got a little fight in them, and they care about the future of our country. I don't want to be rude to Chuck Schumer. I don't think he doesn't care about the future of our country. But the future of Chuck Schumer is about 15 years max.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the future of the country is
Significantly longer than that, let's hope.
That's all I'll say. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it kicked in for me years ago. Dianne Feinstein laughed at middle schoolers who were protesting climate change outside of her office.
Yep.
It was like it must have been during the pandemic, because I remember having too much time on my hands. And I went through every single elected official we have. 535 senators and 435 in the Congress. So all 535, to see how many had been there since before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
It was about a third. It was about a third. And I was so angry because Dianne Feinstein was laughing, and it was like, must have been a year before she died. And I was like, oh, you don't care because you're gone. I was like, sorry, and that's mean to say. And I'm not trying to be ageist. I'm just trying to, like, practically.
We need people in seats making legislation who are going to have to live with the consequences of their decisions. We have entirely too many. Chuck Schumer is a perfect example of the old guard that I mentioned that needs to be swept aside. And it's going to have to be a situation where they're swept aside. Like Jeremy with his campaign, he calls it Jeremy Takes the House, because it's going to have to be a take situation, because most of these people are going to hold on to their position of power, kicking and screaming all the way to their graves, just like Dianne Feinstein. Well, I figure we're probably going to see something similar with Nancy Pelosi unless we manage to unseat her. And I'm not trying to discredit the accomplishments that these people have made during their time, but nobody needs to be in the same seat for decades. That's what leads to the degree of stagnation that we are experiencing now. And
that's a good word, stagnation.
Leads to, I'm not trying to be ageist either, but a toothless party.
Yeah.
Which is what we found. Well, I mean, we're trying. We've got a few firebrands like AOC, Jasmine Crockett out there, actually. I'm not going to lie, I love Bernie Sanders, but I also believe that it's probably high time that he stepped aside as well, which is not to say that he can't still be a voice of leadership for the party and the left as a whole, but he doesn't have to have that seat to continue doing that. We can put somebody younger in that seat again that's going to have to live with the consequences of the decisions that they make.
Yeah.
And I mean, because who knows? Yeah, Bernie's in great health, but shit happens, you know?
Well, that's the whole thing, right? It's like, I had someone tell me they'd rather they would rather see Bernie Sanders than like anyone else that's on the left right now for president in 2028. And I was like, well, first of all, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. We got to get through 25 and 2026, right?
Yeah.
Our off years, like our non-midterm years and our non-presidential years have more elections than our presidential years do. Because it's all the locals, it's all the municipalities, it's all the cities and counties. Some of the states are running theirs as well. Obviously, we've got big races in Virginia and New Jersey right now for governor, but like, I was just like, shut the fuck up. If I hear someone say 2028 one more fucking time, I will have steam coming out of my ears. We got to get through 26. We got to get through 25. And guess what? There will be elections in 27. There's elections every year.
We got to get people to understand the importance of midterm elections. As you said, municipal elections are state legislature elections are very important, but they put so much emphasis on the president. And
yeah,
I think that's by design. When
yeah,
you have everybody focused on the president, then it makes it a lot easier to do things like run Dale Strong unopposed,
all the
term after
time.
term
Yeah,
after term, because people aren't thinking about the midterms.
that's definitely a part of it. And realistically, people forget the state legislature is the one that draws the maps. They probably won't forget this year because of Texas. Maybe some people, I think, have already forgotten about Texas. We're moving through these news cycles so fucking quickly that everybody's brain is goddamn mush. Mine is. I know that. And I won't look at my phone for like 12 hours. And I have people calling me being like, did you see that? And I was like, I got like a decent night of sleep for the first time in months. And that's how I wake up to, So there's so many things that we're not even taking into consideration, but like municipalities, locals, counties, state, those people actually dictate much more of your life than
Absolutely.
anything that the federal government is really doing. They also change a lot quicker. Things happen a lot quicker at the state level. Like we said at the beginning, we go county level, we go state level, and then we can change things at the federal level. And that's great. But if you want to change something, jump in county level, state level, like whatever your breakdown is, and just make it happen. Because I say this as somebody who likes to harass political officials. It's pretty easy if you're annoying enough.
Oh, absolutely. That's how I ended up where I am.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Like you just kind of keep pushing and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got what I wanted. Great.
Yep.
Yeah. Alabama's interesting. I've been learning more, right? You had 2 special elections this year. You had one on August 25th. You've got another one on October 28th.
Mm-hmm.
What did I learn from our October 28th guy? Oh, I learned that I learned how fucking ass backwards your hemp laws are. Apparently,
yes.
Hemp's a felony and marijuana's a misdemeanor.
Your smoke shop type items, your gummies, your syrups, etc. Like we actually had dispensaries opening up to sell these sort of things because under the Farm Bill, it's technically legal.
Yeah.
And it surprised me. I forget how many years back it was when they actually voted to lower possession of, I think, up to an ounce to a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And then they passed this HB 445 that shut down all the hemp shops. And what really it boils down to is, for one, Alabama's largest industry. I don't know if you've watched the Alabama Solution yet.
I haven't. I'm really scared too. It looks amazing, but looks heart-wrenching.
It's prisons. We have the highest incarceration rate in the United States because we have these massive private prisons, which is just a nonsense phrase to me. Private.
It's insane.
Because you're incentivizing incarceration, and it absolutely is. So they're one more reason for them to lock people up and essentially sell them into the modern day equivalent of slavery. And we had the people that were, many of the people who wrote and voted on that bill are part of the ABC board. So
What's that? Liquor?
alcohol, yeah, our liquor.
Okay, that's North Carolina has it too. Yeah,
Yeah,
but not every state has that.
yeah.
Um,
So I mean, it's been proven the more people have access to hemp products, typically alcohol sales go down. So,
Interesting.
yeah, the harder you dig, the worse it looks. We have one of the most corrupt state governments in the United States.
That
And
doesn't
it's
surprise
bad.
me,
It's
honestly.
bad. It's always been bad.
I was about to say, I just learned, not just, but recently I've learned more and more about like George Wallace and the 60s, Alabama, and obviously before then it was even wilder. It's a wild little place. And like you said at the very beginning, I know there are a ton of Democrats there, and the entire this national level Democratic Party has all but given up on Alabama.
Oh
But
yeah.
like didn't we have a Democratic senator from Alabama?
Mm-hmm.
Doug
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 Jones, yes.
Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like why not?
Well, I mean,
Why
we've
not
got
show up?
Shamari figures now.
Yeah.
It can happen. We voted, I don't remember the exact percentage, but it's a little bit south of 40% for Kamala Harris. Like,
Right. Right.
there,
It's not as red as you fucking think.
and a lot of that problem is voter turnout. If we
Yeah.
can, and that's another thing that we as a club are trying to, as I said, we want to make sure that we're visible, that people see us and they know we're here, and we're trying to organize some community outreach projects, that sort of thing. Not just because obviously community outreach projects, the community as a whole, and are a good thing to do, but it increases our visibility as well. And it's
Right.
kind of hard to talk a whole lot of shit about a group of people who are out there hands on
Yeah.
helping out the community. And we try to do voter registration drives as often as we're able to. Anytime we have like a festival around town, the more people we can get out to vote, I think the more purple you'll see Alabama actually is. If we had a higher percentage of voter turnout, we would be a swing state in the very least.
Right.
But
Well, and
we
that's
have
that's sorry. Go on.
we've been browbeaten with the this is a red state stick for
Yeah.
decades now. It's been especially bad for the last 20 years that so many people who would otherwise vote blue just feel like, what's the point? What's the point in going and standing in line? What's the point in making an effort
Yeah.
to go out when I'm just screaming into a void? But you know, I
Yeah.
think we
I
can
mean,
change that.
part of that issue also comes from one thing that the Republican Party does very well is it instills in its voters the belief that their vote matters. That's like a communication piece that I think the Democratic Party can steal immediately. And they've done polls on this, right, where they interview Democratic voters and they interview Republican voters. And every time the Republican voter, it's like, doesn't matter at all, matters a little bit. Neither way, matters a bit, really matters. And like the Republicans always are like, it really matters. My vote really matters, no matter where they are in the country. And Democrats are almost always in the it doesn't really matter or it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
You're right. Like people talk about Alabama like it's a godforsaken sake, like red state. It could never possibly be challenged. And like every time they say that, I'm like, there was a Democratic senator in the last 10 years.
Yep.
That is a statewide race that is better than Texas. Fuck you.
Yep. Our upcoming gubernatorial race is very, very, very important because
Yeah.
if we don't do something, if we don't get our Democratic candidate out in front of everybody, who's Dr. Will Boyd,
He's really
fantastic,
fabulous. Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant guy, very dynamic speaker. It is, I challenge anybody to spend more than 5 minutes talking to or listening to him and walk away and not like him. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
great guy. If we don't get him or another qualified Democrat in there, we're going to have Tommy Tuberville as our governor.
Which is insane to think about.
KIV, affectionately or disaffectionately for most of us, referred to in the state of Alabama as just Meemaw, is she's bad. She's been bad. She's responsible for a lot of this private prison nonsense. As bad as she
Yeah.
is, Tubbs will be exponentially worse.
I'm
And
looking for some of Tubbs' highlights because isn't he said something absolutely insane?
we'll have to be more specific.
I know. I have a very specific like memory of feeling like something odd that came up, and it was probably something around like sexual misconduct of some sort. I feel like that's right, but it could be wrong. But he is a senator, so if we're being honest, it's a pretty good fucking guess.
I have
Yeah.
also heard that his gubernatorial run is not just because he wants to be governor, but also because the GOP on the federal level just kind of really wants to get him out of their way because he's an idiot. He is not well liked among his own party members because he's an idiot. And
So he's going to run for governor.
His only claim to fame in Alabama was he was a football coach for Auburn.
He was a pretty big deal.
For 2 years. He was a terrible coach, and they paid him a shit ton of money to go away. And he doesn't even live in Alabama. He is a resident of Florida.
What?
Yeah.
I think we need...
If I understand correctly, his wife maintains a residence in Alabama.
Someone has a house somewhere, right? Yeah.
And they're going to accept that as good enough.
That's upsetting. I don't even know what to tell you. I'm like been rendered speechless. It doesn't surprise me that he's been such an idiot that but this is so American in its ways, right? Technically, being a senator is a great job, but like being a governor of a state is you go from 1 in 100 to 1 in 50.
I mean, we absolutely
I was
mess to clean up.
I was terrified you were going to say that the national GOP was going to run him as the president at some point. That's what I was afraid. I thought you were like, we're getting him out of Senate-ship to run Alabama to then run. And I was like, oh, God.
This is a difficult thing for me to even verbalize, but I dare say he'd be worse than Trump. He would be a worse president than Trump, which...
You never know. Honestly, at this point, I'm like, who the fuck? Someone made a joke about, God, who'd they make a joke about? Oh, like John Cena being president, or even Bad Bunny. They were like we were going back and forth, and I was like, honestly, I trust those two people to hire really great people. I literally do. They don't need to be president. They can go shake hands and kiss babies and sing national anthems, and like, I think they would bring in a really great team. At this point,
I could give two shits about wrestling, but from what I have seen of John Cena over the years, he is a genuinely kind and compassionate human being. Like, I would much rather see him. But we really need to get away from the idea.
He cares about kids with cancers.
Yeah.
He cares about kids with cancer, and that's a big step in the right direction, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, which Trump has already proven that he does not. Under multiple, pulling funding for one and robbing from his own charity that's supposed to benefit that.
That's what he does, though. I've lived in New York for a really long time. I've been in real estate and construction in New York for the majority of the time, and people are like, oh, like, you just never even gave Trump a chance. And I'm like, I work in real estate and construction in New York City.
Uh-huh.
He has ruined so many things and so many people and so many companies and so many individuals that, like,
he's well known for not paying anybody.
Yeah. I was like, I know families whose entire livelihood has been ripped out from under them. And maybe it was in the 90s, maybe it was in the 80s. That's 30 or 40 years, that would be like generational wealth if that company had still stuck around. Like, yeah. Also, the buildings that had his name on them that were no longer owned by him during his first term, they all voted to remove his name. And they started like ripping them off, and everyone was like, yeah.
Yeah. I've known a few New Yorkers in my day, and it's generally accepted that the city of New York hates Donald Trump. Just you know,
Yeah.
um,
We are seeing more red hats, though. They are a little. It did not. It became New York. Even the 5 boroughs, we had some like red patches.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What's wild is I am seeing less here. I'm seeing fewer yard signs. I'm seeing fewer flags. I'm seeing fewer hats and fewer shirts.
It's a good sign.
That doesn't necessarily mean that most of his supporters have stopped supporting him, but they are being less vocal about it, which is something. You still have your few that will come in working at the grocery store. I see a lovely cross section of the population.
Yeah.
And you still have people come in draped from head to toe, hat, shirt. Sometimes they have pants with Trump down the leg. It's 90% of their personalities at this point.
It is a weird. I've tried to figure it out, and some of it. It's very much a cult. Some of it literally borders on. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist or anything, but it feels goddamn near a psychosis of sorts. And that's what cults do, right? They like entrap you. They give you a sense of identity, and they, by the time you've bought into it, now, right? We're 10 years in. He started running for office in 2014. So we're 11 years in. Like, now you've put in so much of your life, and so many of your friends are in this group, that if you walk away from it, you lose a ton of, but again, maybe you don't fully walk away. Maybe you just take your signs down and you kind of signal to other people you're open to having a conversation, or I don't know. I that seems like a soft launch for an exit to me.
Right. Yeah. There's also the inability to admit fault among a lot of these folks around here. When you lump so much of your identity in, the longer and harder and further you go, the harder it is to say, yeah, well, maybe I was wrong.
Yeah. Well, and it's human nature. We have a hard time saying we were wrong to begin with. Americans more so than others. White Americans more than other Americans.
Yeah, that rugged individualism.
It is. It's one of those things that we don't do very well. So I've been trying to open conversations with folks that I am talking to in this position, being like, it's okay to admit that you were lied to.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to admit that you were wrong, like you are wrong, by the way, but you don't have to admit that. You can say, hey, you know what? I was lied to. I was told X, Y, and people are coming out every day now saying that, being like, hey, I was told that our groceries would be lowered. I was told that housing would be more affordable. None of that has changed. And what I'm seeing is that, like, my kids' friends at school's parents have been gone for 6 months or 3 months or whatever. And like, that's actually not what I voted for. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. I mean, it is what you voted for, but like, thank you for giving some sort, like, acknowledging and also saying it out loud, putting it on the internet so other people might see it and say, hey, you know what? Like, that's right. Me too.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm hard pressed to advocate for anybody to just not vote, but like, for real, if you finally can admit that you feel betrayed by Donald Trump, but still can't bring yourself to vote for a Democrat, maybe just sit this one out, maybe just hang out at home and just try to ignore the whole thing while the rest of us actually try to clean up this mess.
Yeah, it's tough. It is. It's, same. I'm like, everyone should vote. No matter who you vote for, you should all vote. And then, granted, we don't have the best example, right? Like, half of Congress, I don't think, read the big, beautiful bill. I don't know if you saw the interviews with people being like, oh, like literally people would ask them direct questions, be like, did you read that section of the bill? And they're like, no.
I didn't know that was in there.
Oh, I'm sorry, I already signed it.
It's kind of literally your job.
You also have a team full of people. You have a team, like you have 2 offices filled with people. You got office in your home state, office in DC. Also, I don't know, run it through AI, get the bullet points, break it down. I don't know, have an intern go side by side and check it out and make sure they got it right. But like, that's a perfect thing for AI to do. Is you say, hey, don't use the internet. Just read this entire document, break it down bullet by bullet for what I need to know for each section. That's like perfect use of AI, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But these people don't even know what Instagram is. So how could they be using AI?
Yeah, that is also true. But I mean, there are also plenty of younger representatives that you get. I mean, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, for instance. She was one of the ones that comes directly to mind that, like, oh, I didn't read that part or I wasn't aware that was in there. She's not that old. She should
No.
be able to use these kinds of technology. Or, as you said, in the very least, make use of your team.
Yeah.
But most of them are
Marjorie Taylor Greene
tense.
is very interesting to me. Something is going on with her, and she said she's not running for Senate, and I don't think she will because I don't think she thinks she's electable at that level, which
No,
she's not. And Georgia won't elect her. Like they just,
no.
it's all of Atlanta would vote against her, and if nobody else voted against her, they would win because that's just the
Yep.
way Georgia is. But she's like changed her hair dye slightly. It's like a little less painfully blonde.
She's trying to inch away.
I've been watching this and I like really think that's it. She's done something with her skin. She looks great. She's looking she's looking the best she's ever looked. Is also starting to put distance in front of MAGA, and I think that's really interesting, and I think we're gonna see more of it. But I mean, even Tucker Carlson, right?
Yes.
That one made me angry. I was like, oh, so you are a real journalist. You do know how to ask questions. You're just a dick.
Suddenly, yeah. Now that it just depends on what's the most advantageous for them.
He just wants power himself.
Yeah.
Surprised he hasn't run for something, honestly.
Same. And I would not rule that out for the future. But
I would like to, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I do firmly believe that we have a blue wave coming.
Oh, we have to, actually. Mathematically, yeah.
I think the pendulum has swung as far to the right as it can. Maybe not as far to the right as it can, but as far as it's going to. I think it's coming back in our direction. And I'm very interested to see what that leads to. How wonderful would it be to have a 60-seat majority in the House and not have to ask the Republicans for shit?
Just literally tell them to go fuck themselves. I saw the numbers this morning, right? Donald Trump's approval rating is at 31%.
Mm-hmm.
When the approval rating is low at midterms, you get whomped. You get whomped at midterms no matter what, by the way. The midterms after your president, whatever side of this aisle you're on, gets elected, midterms is usually some sort of reactionary movement, and that's kind of why we have them, right? Is to limit some of this shit. But when it's real low, that's where it's like people are like, oh, it's a blue wave. They're expecting such a big blue wave that the Supreme Court is about to allow states to gerrymander legally because that they're trying to break all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably won't be able to in time for the midterms, is what I'm hearing and thinking.
I hope not.
Yeah.
And they have to be very, very careful with their gerrymandering because if they don't do it just right, they're going to end up shooting themselves in the foot.
Like Texas did.
Yeah, like Texas did.
Exactly. Fabulous.
I am very interested to see how this goes, and we can get people like Jeremy, people like Candace in these seats. Actually legislating for people, both of which have vowed we're not taking any kind, we're not taking corporate money. And it's hard to say I'm not going to take PAC money, because all PACs are not created equally. And if you just completely 100% disavow any PAC money, you're just leaving a lot of money on the table for your opponent.
You're fighting with one arm tied behind your back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As much as I would like to see PACs go away altogether and see Citizens United go away altogether, as you said, not using that, you're fighting with one arm tied behind your back. But they have both, and Andrew Snead as well. They've all vowed, we're not going to take dark money, which I
is,
suppose what is considered dark money is subjective, but still, it all boils down to we need a new generation of leadership. We need a new generation of leadership from the top all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of capable and intelligent people working on that towards the federal level. So we need more people to jump in, get involved in your county clubs, get involved with your county executive committee, and start rebuilding the foundation, because that's where it all starts. It all starts on your state and even your local municipal level, which municipal elections typically are not supposed to be partisan, but they often are anyway. And rebuilding things from the ground up, I think, is going to have the largest ripple effect going forward. And that's what we're trying to do.
I feel like that's kind of a perfect spot to end. It's very hopeful, and I think it's actually some actionable items. But folks, again, this is Dana Owens, president of the Jackson County, Alabama Democratic County Club. I said county too many times. You can follow him on Blue Sky at jdanaowens.blueskyshit and on TikTok at CobraChicken42. I love millennials handles on we never intended to be sharing these on podcasts, and here we are. So
like you said, guys is gender neutral. I mean, we're millennials. Dude is gender neutral at this point too.
Yeah. Dude is, yeah. I mean, honestly, sometimes, and this really pisses the men off, but I find girl to be gender neutral. I'm going to say girl.
I take no offense at it.
But yeah. So again, you can follow him on TikTok. You can follow him on Blue Sky and go support somebody in the Alabama congressional races in House District 5 and support someone in the Senate race, because Senate, there's just a big shakeup in Alabama. Go support some Alabamians. Thank you. Amazing. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Thank you for following The Foolish Optimist. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, pretty much. We're going to be dropping new episodes every Wednesday, and you can watch the video episodes on YouTube. If you would like to, please give us a review, leave comments. You can also email us at thefoolishoptimistpodcast@gmail.com. If you see any really great candidates that I should be talking to, send them my way. Thank you.